This is a well-documented thread about the situation, definitely worth going through. All the proof that David did it, a thread. Okay, it seems to me like a lot of you guys don't actually care about the imminent collapse of the First Amendment, authoritarian fascism popping off, taking root in American society, and you simply want to learn about this. You simply want my coverage on this. You are connected? No, I'm not connected, dumbass. How the would I be connected to this? Is there a news story that takes place around the planet where I'm not connected to it? Okay, listen, it's not drama. It is a real heinous crime. Okay, trigger warning, pedophilia trigger warning. There's some very very violent descriptions I'm gonna explain to you right now. So I'm gonna talk about right now. But basically, a couple of days ago, okay, a little afternoon on September 8th. Los Angeles police responded to a call from a tow yard in Hollywood about a foul odor coming from an impounded Tesla. When the car's front trunk was opened, detectives discovered decomposing human remains. They quickly found out that the vehicle was actually registered to David, D4VD. David himself is a Twitch streamer and a Fortnite player initially, who then turned into a very successful singer-songwriter. Okay? Like the song, I did not even know that like one of the TikTok songs that I actually enjoyed quite a bit was actually written and was his song. Okay? Yeah, I mean, he was in Arcane. He had all of these, his career was exploding. He was like opening for Caliucci's and doing so many different things, right? Was it Invincible? No, not Feel It from Invincible. But there are so many different, like he was in Invincible as well, but like he had a song with Lofi too, is so insane. Yeah, he was really, really, really popping off. Like he is clearly a very talented guy, right? What's the most famous song that he has? Like the one that really blew up on this is the one that blew up on TikTok. Oh, this one, yeah, this one. I think. Yeah, you've heard this song before. It's impossible for you not to have heard this song before. Now, there's also a relevance to the actors that he hired seemingly in his music videos as well. It's pretty crazy. The story actually unfolds and untangles into like something even crazier than you would expect. Okay? So basically, we find out that, or not we find out, but like there's this news story that comes out while David is on tour. While David is on tour, there's this news story that comes out that there's a decomposing body that was found in the trunk of a Tesla. The Tesla is registered to David. Okay? David Anthony Burke. It's a 2023 Tesla Model Y with a Texas license plate. And what's even crazier about it is that like obviously he is cooperating with the authorities throughout the entire process, and he's still continuing to do his tour. Okay, and apparently the car itself was abandoned. Seemingly, the car itself was seemingly abandoned, and it was called in by someone who was walking by in the neighborhood, and that's why it got towed. And I believe there's some details that are all over the place, but like it was initially abandoned and then impounded, okay, when someone called it in. So what's interesting about it is that like when they see this foul odor, they come in, they figure out that there's a decomposing human remain, but the victim's body had deteriorated to such a degree that it took medical examiners a full week to identify her as Celeste Rivas. Now, Celeste Rivas is a teenager that was reported missing by her family in February and April of last year. But what was confirmed at the time the body was discovered was that the 2023 Tesla Model Y, like I said, was belonging to the up-and-coming singer David. Okay? Celeste Rivas just turned 15. She actually passed away before she turned 15. Her age matters in this situation. So she's like, when people say she is 15, that doesn't tell you the full story. She is a full child, okay, full-blown child. Burke was on tour when the body was discovered, David, and a representative said he was cooperating with the authorities. Police have yet to name a suspect or even a person of interest in the case, nor have any arrests been made. As police continue their investigation, here's everything we know about the shocking case so far. So, after the detectives discovered Rivas' body, a report from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner described her as a female with wavy black hair, wearing a tube top and black leggings, size small, as well as yellow metal and stud earrings and a yellow metal chain bracelet. Her height was listed as 5'2", 5 feet 2 inches. But Rivas' body was so severely decomposed that examiners were unable to determine her eye color, age, or race and ethnicity. One of the only potential identifying details they were able to share was a tattoo on the right index finger that read shush, like shh. Okay? This tattoo is relevant later. This becomes a big part of the story in a moment. Just over a week after the body was discovered on September 16th, authorities finally identified Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 15-year-old from Lake Elsinore, California, who was reported missing by her family last year. A GoFundMe has been set up to help her family cover the cost of funeral arrangements. After Rivas was identified, reporters quickly swarmed the family's home. While the family declined to speak with them, TMZ reported that Rivas' mother had said her daughter had been dating someone named David before her death. A friend, Ruby Alonso, who was visiting the house, described Rivas as sweet and studious to Rolling Stone, adding, "It's so sad. She was very beautiful." Despite identifying Rivas, there's still much authorities do not know, including a cause of death. A report on the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner website still listed her cause of death as deferred. Now, initially, for understandable reasons, they immediately billed this as a murder. After they hadn't conducted a proper investigation as to how this had taken place, so they actually retracted that it was a murder, for the record, which sounds insane, but we still don't know. I don't know if they've changed that since then, but they have to do more autopsy and run more tests to figure out whether this was a homicide or what it was, what kind of homicide it was, like what it unfolded. Okay. Now, much of the information that's trickled out about the investigation has centered around the impounded Tesla. The car was towed from the Tony Bird Streets neighborhood in the Hollywood Hills, and it was sitting in the tow yard for 3 days before the police were called about the smell. Residents told Rolling Stone that the car was spotted in various places around the neighborhood in the preceding months, as far back as the end of May. The city finally towed the sedan after a citizen complained that the car had been abandoned for more than 72 hours. Neighborhood sources said the sedan had been sitting in its final spot on Bluebird Avenue for at least 3 weeks. It moved around, one resident told Rolling Stone. Is chilling. Now, what's crazy about this is that it's a Tesla. So Teslas, I'm not exactly super knowledgeable about this stuff, but I feel like Teslas are constantly on. It's basically like an iPad, right? So the fact that no, they're not. No, I mean, like, this is not like a 1967 vehicle, okay? This is a car that is basically a computer. And what I mean by that is, like, they have constant surveillance. They have the company that could actually provide a backdoor to law enforcement to offer constant surveillance, to go back in the footage. They have cameras all over the car. The car is computer. That's why Trump said everything is computer. Remember? Most cars nowadays are on 24/7, whether it be OnStar or numerous other ways in which law enforcement can actually figure out exactly where you're at. Teslas, you should be hung. I am hung. Ask your mom about how hung I am. Okay, let's keep it pushing. You mean that it can receive a ping to map its location? Exactly. Like in real time, as a matter of fact. And I also don't understand how you could even steal a Tesla, right? Because it's like stealing an iPhone, but the iPhone is always on. You know what I mean? Like, how is that possible? You have real-time location. You report it as stolen, and I assume the authorities can come and, like, take it instantly. Yes, you can see where the Tesla is until the battery is under 20%. Anyway, it moved around, one resident told Rolling Stone. Is chilling. The investigation wrapped up Wednesday night after Rivas' body was identified. Per ABC7, in Los Angeles, investigators searched a house on Doheny Place, close to where the car was abandoned. After several hours at the home, police left with a computer and other items. Beyond the initial assessment confirmed that he was cooperating with authorities, reps for Burke have yet to make any public comments. The musician has continued to tour and play shows in support of his debut album, Withered, which arrived in April. At a concert on September 9th, the day after the body was discovered, David performed in Minneapolis, where he was seen tossing Labubus into the crowd, hyping his hit song, Crashing, with singer Kali Uchis. Not my friend. I did a song with him, which is currently in the process of being taken down, given today's disturbing news, she wrote on social media following the body's discovery. David also immediately was kicked off of his ad campaigns that he had with Crocs and I believe another company, Hollister, as well. They pulled back on the ad campaign as soon as the information was revealed. And at first, given the fact that this dude had this like incredible career ahead of him, and also the fact that law enforcement immediately said like, oh, he's cooperating, and maybe because he was also continuing the tour as nothing was up, which in hindsight is really crazy. I think a lot of people just assumed like, oh yeah, this is a really unfortunate circumstance where like I think this guy is like related to a completely unrelated murder that happened to take place, somewhere, and then it got tied back to his car somehow, right? Because maybe his car got stolen. Now, because as far as I understand, the car was reported as stolen, and obviously, new information that has been revealed about the suspect, or not the suspect, sorry, new information has been revealed about the victim that ties the victim directly back to David, and that changes the situation entirely. Okay? That changes the situation entirely. Allegedly, the victim has a matching tattoo with David. Allegedly, the victim, at the age of, I believe, 12, met David and was groomed by David, who was 17 at the time. And they were in a pedophilic relationship, basically. Either 11 or 12, I think that's when they met. And it is the most insane thing I've ever heard. The story is the most insane thing I've ever heard. The reason why I say this is because, like, there is not really ever a circumstance where the best case scenario is that this person is just a pedophile kidnapper, and the worst case scenario is that he's a pedophile kidnapper who also murdered someone. Okay? Because like all of the evidence that is presented in the aftermath of the revelation of the victim has led me to at least believe that at best, it's like, I can't believe I'm saying it's a best case scenario. David himself is, I believe, 20 years old now. Okay. But even though he was 17 when he met this little girl, I mean, that's still completely unacceptable. What are you talking about? 17 and 12? Are we being for real? 18 and 13, chat? Are we being real right now? Please. David has enjoyed an impressive rise over the past few years. He broke through in 2022 with his singles, Romantic Homicide. Now, there is a really important part of this story, okay? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was actually XQC that presented this information. This is not even a joke. XQC dug deep into all of this story, and as far as I understand, was the first person to actually show this. David made a song in 2022, which premiered on September 7th, 2022. Remember that date. This date will be important in a brief moment. The song was called Romantic Homicide. This is it. Literally released this song on the same date as the victim Celeste Rivas Hernandez's birthday. This was after they had met. Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was last seen on April 5th, 2024, according to her family, last seen in Lake Elsinore, California, was born on September 7th, 2010. She died under mysterious circumstances, and her her corpse was deteriorating in the back of singer David's car. This song was written. Some of the lyrics in here are basically talking about how he doesn't even feel remorse or sadness for this death. Am I losing my mind? Did you not feature him on stream like months ago, last summer or something? Or was that some other artist? I recall listening. No, I never did. I met him one time for like approximately 30 seconds at Tara Yummy's birthday. And that's it. He was friends with a bunch of streamers, though. Like, he was really in this space. I mean, he was a streamer. He made a song with Jason the Ween. And it's so insane. Now, this song was in 2022, chat, and it was premiered deliberately on the birthday of the victim in 2022. Now, David has canceled the show in Seattle as of last night. Basically, what ended up happening is, like, once the victim was identified, David actually finally canceled one of his tour appearances, and we don't know where he is, but I assume that he's cooperating still with law enforcement. But I still don't understand how. I still do not understand how the law enforcement. That isn't correct. The song was released on July 20th, 2022. It premiered on YouTube on her birthday, bro. It's right here. At that point, he knew her too. Like, they were already 2 years, 2 years prior to her kidnapping and going missing. They had already established a relationship. At this point, she was turning, I believe she was turning 12, or her 13th birthday. I've also, correction for chatter, the music video was released on her birthday, not the song itself. Yes. And not only that, but the actresses that he has hired are consistent with the way Celeste looked. Okay? In almost all of his music videos, the actresses he keeps hiring literally are consistent with the way that the missing teenager, the victim of the situation, looked like. Okay? I believe there was an unreleased song where he also mentions like the name Celeste on numerous occasions, but I'm not fully aware of that. But yeah, there are photos. I don't even know exactly where these photos are from, but there are photos of them together, obviously, which is why I don't fully understand it. I don't understand like how no one was like, yo, this girl is like 12. You know what I mean? Like, how the did people, like, I understand if you just like don't assume that someone you're hanging out with briefly, or someone that you are around briefly is just like a potential alleged pedophile murderer. But like, if you are good friends with this person, like, and I don't mean like, you know, Jason level. I'm talking like actually in his life, like super close friends. Because I'm sure that he was around a bunch of other people that like he knew for a very long time. How the did nobody go, dude, how old is this girl? Look at his TikTok reposts. Me if I see her talk to other dudes. Me after hearing about her past with other boys, I'm jealous and utterly disgusted by her actions. I don't know if this is real or not. I feel like there's a lot of fake shit also slinging around. But regardless, there's already like a tremendous amount of information as well. Here is a demo for the unreleased song. Oh yeah. An alleged song leaked in December 2023 about Celeste, where he says, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest, the smell on her clothes."
So this is what it's like.
Check that hard drive, bro. What hard drive? Prison now. What are you talking about? This is why I'm saying, like, even in a scenario where he's not like linked back to her gruesome homicide, murder, whatever. The law enforcement authorities figure out it happened to this poor young girl. You still got grooming and pedophilia, okay? There is no hard drive to check at that point. It is far beyond the hard drive checking. Like I've never seen a situation where like the best case scenario for this person is that they're just a pedophile kidnapper and they're not a pedophile kidnapper murderer, which would be the worst case. Right? Triggered much? What? Triggered? Dude, Republicans, this is not a political story, okay? I don't think you are responding appropriately to the images that you are seeing on camera, okay? Hogs, this is not about like left, right. This is not about politics, you idiot. Are you okay? Unless you are a pedophile libertarian or some shit, and you're like, oh, triggered? Are you triggered about people engaging in pedophilia? Is that what you're doing? I know your daddy Donald Trump is like super linked with Jeffrey Epstein, but calm down, okay?
So much makes me depressed, but I digress because...
Yeah. If you keep making us listen to this dog shit, I swear I'm going to Congress to testify against you. Man, shut the fuck up. It's a musician who literally wrote a song about a now murdered teenage girl who was like 12 at the time, and the victim is directly connected to the musician. Like, I'm not listening to this because I'm like, whoa, what a bop. Oh, I can't, wow. Oh my God. Such great music. Like, what are you, stupid? Jesus Christ, it plays a role in the story. Oh my God. I'm covering the homicide of a girl who just recently turned 15. Okay? I know that person is trying to joke, make crack jokes, but like chill, lock in for a second. Okay? Anyway, did you see the video? People speculate it's her and him hanging out on stream. Yeah, I saw this video as well. I mean, this is like Arcade Yugi as well here. I don't know who stream this is. They're speculating that this is her, but I don't know if it actually is. I couldn't tell. I don't know. At first, I thought she was wearing the Gap hoodie that she was seen in. Like the Gap hoodie that she was last seen in. And it's like literally in the missing persons report, but I don't think it's the same hoodie. Also, this is a different girl, I'm pretty sure. Now, the reason why I say that, the reason why I say this is a different girl, I'm pretty sure, who also apparently is named Celeste as well. Unless they're talking about the girl in the back, this girl. But I don't think that's her either. Yes. There is another girl named Celeste. He follows her. Apparently, she changed her bio to the other Celeste. So crazy how blatant he was about it. This is some YNW Melly level of self-incrimination, but for pedophilia. Yeah. Couldn't David's defense, if it goes to court, use the argument that rappers use what they said? You can't use song evidence because art not defending him. What are you talking about? There's a million different points of connection for very obvious crimes here before you get to the music lyrics, man. Like, there is a body that is decomposing in his car. The body belongs to a girl that was reported missing a year ago. They both have the same tattoo on their fingers. the same shush tattoo on their index fingers. Like, there is no, you don't need to connect these two people to one another over the lyrics of his songs. That's just additional insanity. I know a lot of people are also, focusing on the lyrics and the songs and whatnot, and myself included, because like it seems like he's just like left breadcrumbs everywhere. But overall, there are obviously hard evidence. There's hard evidence that like ties these two people together. But yeah, apparently there was his Discord server that was speculating on his relationships. He's dated a Celeste at some point, even shown her on stream, trying to find proof of this, and a majority of his Discord community knows about her too. They've seemingly been together since 2022 or longer, and seems to have broken up at some point in 2024. And based on this Reddit user's post, the description given about her matched the person that David's been with. Celeste in here, hi David Bark. I don't know, he never had a girlfriend, but who knows, he might have had a sneak. But he has a girlfriend. I'm pretty sure he's dating right now. What? Yeah, her name is Celeste. Why are you adding me? Jokes, ha ha ha. Anyway, they've seemingly been together since 2022 or longer. And based on this Reddit user's post, the description given about her matched the person that David's been with. Someone on Reddit also was saying like this dude is a pedophile ahead of time. Basically saying like this guy's a weirdo, a close friend's little sister from IE ran away last year, and this is who she was with. We think her sister was pimping her out. She was in 7th grade at the time. LAPD sweep this place in the hills. I'm terrified that's who was in the car. This is before they even identified the victim. Nobody has heard from her in months. I won't release names as she's still a minor, but she was from Lake Elsinore. It isn't speculation. It literally happened. I don't really care if you've heard nice things about him. That has no impact on my personal negative experience. Well, the victim is a female, wavy black hair, and shush tattoo mean anything to you? I'm really not trying to release any identifying information because it absolutely sounds like her, and my heart is broken. I don't want to mess anything up regarding the investigation. I'll be reaching out to the LAPD today. Yeah, this guy literally said, I strongly doubt this is true. He has a very public social media presence, and there's no one underage in his road crew. I have only heard good things about David from tour and venue staff. Don't post stuff like this with all the speculation going around. You're going to feed witch hunts like that. It isn't speculation. It literally happened. It's an interesting situation because like this is a pattern. This is a unique pattern that like I wouldn't even go so far as to say that person is like immediately defending this celebrity. Okay, because I hate it. You're saying I hate it when people protect pedos, but like understand that like it feels like there were two different Davids, like the possible pedophilic killer and also the public persona. The public persona and the front that he put on when he was interacting with other people was a Christian who was incredibly kind, like that kind of thing, which is crazy. Like, it's real. Like, even in my brief interaction, even in my 30-second interaction that I had with him, what I was left behind with in that 30-second interaction was like, wow, this is like an incredibly nice person. What the I did not think so. I did not like assume that someone would be like so nice. Think about that. Like, I don't understand how someone can just like keep up appearances to this degree. No, to be fair, the super Christian front facing side does lead to some suspicion. I do understand that, which is at least like when I saw, apparently he would do like, I was like doing a little bit of digging last night, and I found that he was like doing like Christian updates or whatever, where he talks about like imposter syndrome and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little, like that's a little performative, right? But I will say it gave me straight up whiplash, dude. It gave me straight up whiplash, like finding out that this person who was so normal was also like, this serial killer style person who was just like, who had kidnapped and groomed a minor at the age of 12. Okay. Even younger, potentially. That is crazy. Did your dad vote for pedo Trump? My dad did not vote for anyone. He is Turkish. Not sure how that is relevant to any of this, but what is this? He was actually home during the time she passed, just not when she was found. A Reddit poster called it first when it happened. Can you guys stop posting this comment? I deleted it for a reason. There's an active investigation. Yes, it's her. Yes, I'm heartbroken. She was a little girl, and she was failed horribly by the entire communities. I want to throw up thinking about what she could have gone through in the last year. She should be sitting in class in high school living like a normal ass kid, and she's gone. She never saw 15. They found her body on her 15th birthday. Stop tagging me and let me grieve in peace. Yeah. She was missing for a year. There's more details, by the way, because apparently the body in the impounded car was also like not only decomposing, but potentially chopped as well to pieces. But that was like the initial suspicion. It was found, the body was found in a bag after a chopped up decomposing body was found in a bag in his front trunk of a Tesla. The Tesla was registered to Hempstead, Texas, but had been impounded for a couple of days at a tow yard in Hollywood, California, and it belonged to David, a 20-year-old whose legal name is David Anthony Burke. I heard the police changed the wording from dismembered to in pieces because they couldn't tell if it was due to decomposition or if it was purposeful. Yeah. So law enforcement had little or enough evidence to even do a search warrant at his manager's house he's staying in. They still don't consider him a suspect, by the way, which is so insane to me. I don't know how you don't consider a person who is directly linked a primary suspect. Like, I don't understand it. Okay. I truly don't understand it because like I said, at best, this person is directly linked as a minor to this person. What the are we doing? Cops are so useless, bro. It is crazy. A Los Angeles. Oh, by the way, the reason why the cops are botching this investigation is because, for the record, if you couldn't comprehend what was going on in the background, I did a little bit of digging into this as well. She comes from a very poor family. That's it. Hispanic background, very poor family. When girls go missing from that background, police clearly don't put a lot of effort into these investigations. Okay? Straight up. I 100% think that is the reason, because if this person goes missing, okay, at the age of like 13 or 14, how the do you not conduct a proper investigation to figure out like who she was around last? Yeah, the same thing happens in indigenous communities all the time. She was missing for a whole year. And it wasn't even like all that private. Like, I don't even know how to say she was missing when she was like, it seems as though she was at least like seen in some circumstances. But I guess this past year, police were a little bit busy. You know, aside from playing Candy Crush, they were busy arresting pro-Palestine campus protesters and stuff. You know, 2024, heated year. Lots of discourse taking place. They were too busy working the college encampment counter-protest movements. You're saying she was seen after she was pronounced missing? I think so, but I think people just didn't know who she was and did not connect it to Lake Elsinore. You know what I mean? A minor being, huh? Okay, I'll let him. The victim's brother was DMing someone on Twitter and brought more light to the situation. Someone link it. But yeah, there are a lot of, there's a lot of oddity in this situation. Celeste's brother speaks up and reveals that that David killed his sister. His whole chat is attached in the video. What is this? Dude, why does David follow you? All respect to your sister. I hate how shitty people are being. Was it really him? Jesus, all love, man. Yes, it was him because he found my account out of nowhere and followed me. Well, what? Okay, I don't know about all this stuff. Okay, I don't know about all, you know, this. There is like, there's always going to be like a we did it Reddit association with this stuff. It could be totally valid. It could be totally real, but I'm not going to like entertain unsubstantiated stuff beyond what is known so far, even though law enforcement is like very clearly not doing a decent job with this at all, it seems. When I was writing this, I got a notey from, he also had this to say at some point in 2020, which seems odd to say the least. When I was writing this, I got a notey from you as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again. Take me where I belong, but our circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situations. We got to push through it, bro. Yeah. So there's also some other shit too. This was a photo that was circulating around, people saying that this is David like paying off friends of Celeste to keep them quiet. Not even a year ago, my homie told me that David for D4VD guy owes someone money in Lake Elsinore. Now this girl's dead, missing from Elsinore. Weird. One insane thing I saw was that photo you just showed where he was paying her off is a 6-minute walk from where her family lives. Prayers to her family. Oh, this is another girl that like David follows on Instagram, Kira Hollander. She says, prayers to her family. I used to be close friends with David and we, in air quotes, dated when I was 16 and he was 18. We've seen each other IRL twice max. And there's so much more, but he introduced me to religion and whatnot. So I'm shaken. I'm so shaken up by the fact that he could have done this. I remember a Celeste and I have a pic of them together that I've seen in the past. And then this is her mom's Facebook post as well about her daughter going missing. Isn't it weird how Lud was defending David? No, dude, it's not, because they had all of this information came after that. Okay. If you were to get mad, if you want to get mad at someone, get mad at the proper people, the law enforcement that is like clearly botching this investigation so far. Like, how the are people supposed to assume that this dude is like a? How are people supposed to know that this dude is like a possible pedophile, kidnapper / murderer? Like, that is insane. Do you expect that? But yeah, the reason why I'm bringing this up also is because like he also shared Celeste's story in 2023. This was Celeste's Instagram account. Dean Blunt Lover 444 was her Instagram account, which is once again strange because like at that point she's like 13, you know? And then there are the reposts as well. LAPD homicide detectives search a house tied to David in the murder of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. TMZ reports investigators left late Wednesday with a computer and several evidence bags. But once again, what I am confused by is, more than anything else, is that there is so much evidence tying this musician, this singer-songwriter, directly back to, at best, a minor that he was very clearly grooming and was very clearly in a relationship with. And then they found this minor's body decomposing in the front trunk of the same musician's Tesla. What more do you need? Like, what more would the investigators need in the situation to be like, I think it might be him? What the like, even if it's not, okay, which is insanely unlikely. The fact that they're not like looking at this as a homicide investigation, like, what is this? What is this? Like, do people's lives just not matter? Is that what it is? If you're like poor and you're Hispanic, you're like a little Hispanic girl from a poor neighborhood and you're minor, like your life is just so worthless. Think about the amount of money and the amount of manpower that was spent on the Charlie Kirk killer, right? Like, Charlie Kirk was a human being, but so is Celeste. What the are we doing? It's obvious that, at least in the eyes of law enforcement, there is like clearly a double standard, which blows my mind. 3 cops got killed yesterday and there's no outrage from it. Oh, is that the York one? If there's no outrage or not a lot of media coverage on it, I suspect it's probably like MAGA affiliated. Who knows? Maybe not, but you know, that's usually how it goes. Remember when right wingers kill someone, they didn't kill someone. It's still a left winger, you know? If they can tie it back to Trantifa, oh boy, you know? So basically, I covered the song that this was like unreleased but leaked, where he makes mentions to Celeste. There are 2 different Celestes here as well. The shush tattoo also might imply that there was a secret that they were both keeping. Obviously, I think you understand what that secret is. The secret is that she is a super minor and he is not. Okay. A clip from the deleted Twitch VOD on David's channel has been found with Celeste from the past. With Celestes from the past. 2 Celestes. I believe there is one. Yes, the victim Celeste, not the decoy one. Same hoodie in this picture. There are 2 different Celestes that he was hanging out with as well, which I don't know if it was like some up sociopathic, like 5-head dispersion. But yeah, there is like a of age Celeste, and then there is a minor Celeste.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan, mixed by me. Oh, thank you, Mitochondria. Appreciate you.
I gotta stop with him if you even.
We
need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too? Yo!
In hindsight, his shirts were odd. Bitch, I have that same shirt. Calm down, okay? I wear that shirt too, bro. I have the same one. Also, once again, the actors that he hired in his music videos also suspiciously look like the victim as well. And this is from like years, okay? This is for years at this point. Like all the way from 2022 onward. David, during his Genius interview for Romantic Homicide in 2022, said it's kind of like the storytelling aspect of the lyrics that came before it in a way.
So what inspired the hook, "In the back of my mind you died," is kind of like the storytelling aspect of the lyrics that came before it, in a way that it builds up to the big moment where she died in the back of my mind. Like, I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died. And I didn't even cry, not a single tear. I've seen people online take different meanings and interpretations from that one part of the song where it's like it's their past selves that's dying. And they're not even crying about it because they're evolved or become better people or have killed addictions and other different stuff like that. So I think it's very powerful in that.
Bro, it's so crazy. Down to the lyrics, down to like the premiere of the music video being on Celeste's birthday. Davis' song Decide dropped on March 28, 2022. Celeste, born September 10th, was only 11. The lyrics Save Your Tears, 7 years, point to her being 18 in the future. People say they've been talking since she was 11. Yeah, there's another lyric that's like also a super famous one too, right? Where it's like, where he's like talking about the time he has to wait. It's called Here With Me. Yeah, it's like, in hindsight, it comes across like almost all of his songs were about his pedophilic obsession with an 11-year-old, dude. And like what he was intending to do in the future. Like this is one of the most insane stories I have ever fucking heard in my life, dude. Yeah, in the Here With Me part, where he talks about like, what is it? I can't describe what I'm feeling. All I know is we're going home. Watch the sunrise along the coast. So please don't let me go. Don't let me go. And if it's right, I don't care how. Yeah, this is the part.
I don't care how long it takes.
Which is so crazy because that's like the most viral part of that song. That was his song, chat. Even I know this song, and I don't even listen to music. I didn't even know that this dude was the dude that made this song. Don't cancel me, brother. I think this guy's a bad person. Wow. Controversial take. I got to be divisive here. This guy's a bad person. Don't cancel me. Controversial take, chatter. A suspected alleged killer / pedophile kidnapper groomer who left little breadcrumbs in his incredibly viral hits about his pedophilic relationship with an 11-year-old. Wow. I mean, there's 2 routes here: jail, perma jail, or become a prominent fixture of the Trump administration. So that's where we're at now. Who knows? Why is this lyric bad? Because the speculation now is that given how much he's talked about this like relationship that he had, this grooming, like statutory rape relationship that he had with this minor, all of the lyrics that talk about like how long it takes. I don't care if it's right. I don't care how long it takes. Is like about the implication is that it's about how he is supposedly waiting for her to turn 18. Yeah, he also held funerals at his shows. David reportedly brings a casket, a wreath, a notepad with a pencil for people to write letters to the deceased during his shows while on tour.
Now, why the fuck would the artist do that?
But like that stuff, obviously from the fan base perspective, is like they just look at that as like, you know, like all of this hits different with hindsight. Do you understand? Like there's no indication or suspicion that you would ever have beyond like, oh, this is spectacle, this is performance. You know what I mean? But then when all of the puzzle pieces fall in the places they're supposed to fall, all of a sudden it looks insane. Like before, prior to all of this knowledge, it comes across as like, oh, just, you know, symbolism, pageantry, whatever, right? But then when you look at it, when you look back at it with your knowledge now, in the aftermath of this incident, you develop a very different realization. Yeah, if it wasn't for the mom identifying the body, none of this would have come to light. Exactly. And if it wasn't like a matching tattoo and the mom basically saying, oh, she had a tattoo of shush on her finger and was dating a guy named David at the time of her going missing. And then people realizing that David also has a tattoo of shush on the same finger. This would not have been like, considering how much they had flubbed this investigation thus far and are still continuing to do so, because unfortunately, people like this are discardable. People like this are not seen as like real human beings that are worthy of a proper investigation by the authorities. Clearly, that it seemed like he probably would have gotten away with it. I don't think you know proper investigation. What do you mean, brother? If a 13-year dude, when Gabby Petito went missing, it became a national news story. When Gabby Petito went missing, it became a national news story. She was not a public figure, okay? But she was from an upper middle class white family, okay? She played a role. When Celeste went missing, clearly nobody gave a shit. And this happens all the time. There's a reason why Jeffrey Epstein, for example, would scout out girls from poor backgrounds and poor neighborhoods. This happens a lot more frequently than you think it does. Do you understand? There are those who law enforcement do not care about and do not place a lot of emphasis on, do not place a lot of time and effort into finding justice for, okay? There is a two-tier justice system, and it certainly exists from a class dynamic as well. This happens so frequently with black and brown girls, young girls, and native indigenous women, especially. There are thousands of stories like this in this country. I think Gabby was a YouTuber. No, her YouTube page was marginal. It was like tiny at the time. Anyway, is there an organization that works to highlight these missing people? Isn't there something called moonlighting or some shit where the cops drive out indigenous girls who freeze to death? I don't know. What would they have done differently if she was rich? The moment that her family said that she was missing, they would have conducted a proper investigation to figure out, to figure out like who she was seen with prior to her going missing. They would have most likely figured out that she was dating a David who at the time was developing a blossoming music career. They would have looked at the age differences, because she went missing in 2024. At that point, David was already a known figure. Apparently, the brother told LAPD that David probably hurt her and they shrugged him off last year. I can totally see that happening as well. What is this? I wouldn't want them to be influenced by the LGBT until they fully understand their mind and body. And it seems that the LGBT is pushing for younger and younger kids to make that switch, to be who they are when they don't even understand themselves as people yet. Yeah. Me, when I see an Indian person, bro said minors are too young to figure out their sexual orientation, but apparently not so young that you can predate on them, you know? That is crazy. Anyway, anytime people are like, wow, it's suspicious. The LGBT is suspicious. They're trying to take our minors. He's like, You like this guy? No, bro. I don't know anything about this guy. I met him one time for 30 seconds and he was like super nice. How the am I supposed to know what his background is? I didn't even know he was like Christian until I saw TikToks of him talking about like Christian, what Christianity means for him or something. I think he has like a prayer TikTok or some shit, which I thought was like weird. Anyway, also, I will be real. As good as I am at reading world affairs, okay, as evidenced by pre-watch Piker, my locks for this year basically coming true. Okay, I am horrible at reading people. It seems. I mean, it's evidenced by a lot of people that I have been endlessly charitable to in my career. Because as long as someone is like nice to me, I just assume they're a nice person. I am a bit of a fool when it comes to a bit of a sucker and a bit of a fool because I always assume the best in people when I meet them. Like there's never a moment where I assume that like someone I meet is even a remotely bad person, let alone a pedophile murderer potentially. Obviously, no one thinks that, right? So don't listen to my judgment on whether, or rather, listen to my judgment when I am suspicious of someone because that means they are laying it on thick. Okay?
Examiner in Los Angeles has identified the body found in the trunk of a car registered to the singer known as David earlier this month. Now, they say that she's a 15-year-old girl who disappeared last year. The musician is on tour now, but his show last night was canceled. Elise Preston has more.
On Wednesday, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office said the severely decomposed human remains found in the trunk of this Tesla last week belonged to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. Multiple media reports say the vehicle is registered to singer David Anthony Burke, better known by his stage name, David. Police found Rivas's body inside the Tesla on September 8th after responding to reports of a foul odor at the Hollywood tow yard.
What are we talking about? Of course it was canceled. Brother, it literally wasn't when they found the body. He kept doing tour dates. Only after the victim was identified a week later, due to the mother recognizing the tattoo on her finger. Only after that did he cancel his show tonight in Seattle. He is not in custody.
Where the car had been impounded. The Tesla had been towed days earlier from Hollywood Hills, where one neighbor said it had been abandoned for weeks. It hurts. It hurts. Friends and neighbors say they're surprised by Rivas's death.
When I met her, she was very lively, just like all giggly.
Rivas, a resident of Riverside County, was reported missing in April 2024 when police said they received a report that she had run away from home. The medical examiner said Rivas appeared to have been deceased for an extended period of time and noted a distinctive tattoo on her right index finger. Images showed David had a similar tattoo on his finger. Representatives for the singer have not responded to our request